felt there was still some confusion regarding the math notebook and how to best use it. So I decided to do a little reorganization and then create this tutorial so that we're all on the same page. Again, why do we have the math notebook? Well, number one, we would like to have a permanent record of knowledge. I want the students to be able to look through this and have a clear record of where they've been and what they've learned, and hopefully a sense of accomplishment about what they've mastered. I also want them to see the bigger picture, to see how all these ideas relate and work together, as opposed to just seeing math as an endless series of problems that they work. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing I did was just move the table of contents to the front folder. Originally, they were the topics were to be organized in this way. I've changed the order some. However, the color of the topic will still match the color of the pages, so that will be consistent. Also, in the front, you should have your blue place value slider and the black ruler. Anything else, I would go ahead and take out, but make sure you have those items in the front of your binder. Okay. At the beginning of the binder, we have our current topics. This quarter, we've worked on word problems and bar diagrams. And so this chart kind of goes through the thought process of how to break down that information. What do we know? What do we need to find? And what are the corresponding bar diagrams? We've also done a lot of work with factors and multiples and distinguishing between those so that students do not say that factors are also called multiples. They do not say that 2 is divisible by 4, but they will say that 4 is divisible by 2. So hopefully they're starting to get that sorted out, but this records all the information that they need to know about that topic. So everything that's on this page, your child should know, except for the GCF and LCM. We haven't covered those yet. We also have some dry erase templates that we've been using, finding all the factors. This one is new that I added today for prime and composite. We talked about prime numbers. These are the exact definitions that I need your child to learn. I need them to learn it exactly this way. To be precise, you can see what the place that they can put the 2 factors there, because a prime number has exactly 2 factors. Composite, here are the 2 factors, plus they have to have at least one other factor to be composite. We've got our multiplication, division, fact families. This is what we were using to make sense of the words factor, multiple of, divisible by, and divisor. And then on the back of that was your divisibility rules, which again, all students need to memorize. Then you'll find a yellow divider. From that point will be all the work that we have done prior or previously, so this will be review work. There's your computation template with your computation papers. Then we had, we did quite a bit of work with place value. So there's a place value dry erase chart, and then we have the actual pages, again correspond to the same color that was in the table of contents for place value. So we talked about comparing numbers, rounding, all the information regarding that. It's on these pages. And then I included the practice pages. These are pages that you have seen, that you have been given, but I'm just put them in here again so you can see how they relate, where they go, and give you an opportunity to practice them with your child or make sure your child knows this information. I've also included the answer keys so that you have that readily available. Okay, rounding with number lines also goes with the place value unit, and I'll give you more information on that later, but it corresponds to this section of the place value chart. On the back of that was the halves, fours, and eighths, which go with measuring, so we have some more information on that later. All right, time conversions. We actually haven't done a lot with time conversions, specifically in class. However, they have worked with them before in the Abeka program, and this set of resources came with the other sets that I ordered, so I went ahead and included it in there. So it just gives them some practice pages to use, and again, they can use the conversions here as a resource, and there's an answer key attached to the back. We haven't done a lot with temperature, but they have talked about that in science some. And then we had some information with the Math Mammoth in measuring in halves, fourths, and eighths, and we also measured with a scale. I had given this template to help students draw lines to halves, fourths, and eighths. Again, you have to test your child more than one way, because some children were very successful at drawing, say 1 3/4 or 1 3/8. They could draw it on this, but then when you gave them the ruler, they couldn't measure. So that's why you have to kind of ask your child questions from multiple angles to make sure that they really do understand what they're doing. But this was the template for practicing these ideas. Okay, then we had customary units of measure, and we worked on memorizing this chart. We have several students who have successfully done that. If your child has not, please have them continue to work on that. Again, all the answers are here. You just have to keep practicing it, keep filling it out till you have them memorized. And hopefully when they memorize it, they will say 12 inches in a foot, 3 feet in a yard, 1,760 yards in a mile, and 5,280 feet in a mile. Okay, as opposed to just remembering numbers vertically. There was also a gallon chart. Filling out this chart or this chart will help them have a picture in their mind for how a pint relates to a quart, or how many ounces are in a cup, or how many quarts are in a gallon. Okay, so I think working with that will help put that picture in their mind, solidify that information. Here are the all the actual facts and information regarding customary conversions that they can use as another reference. This is what we compiled in class. And then this is the series of worksheets that we did to reinforce or work toward mastery on these ideas. Hopefully these should look familiar because we've had them before. I went ahead and just copied the whole set for those of you that may have not done them, for those of you that may have lost them, for those of you that wanted the reference of benchmarks that you could use. When I gave this quiz in class, it was clear that several students still needed more help with that. So again, you can have this resource to use. I had started marking the tabs to indicate linear, capacity, or sorry, weight and capacity, because when I gave them to you, I would usually give you one page of each section. When you practice this, you probably don't want to just go through it sequentially. You want to do one page. You know, you want to work on linear, and then you want to do maybe a page on weight, and then a page on capacity. I ran out of tabs, so if you have more tabs like that, that might better help you distinguish, but that's what those tabs are for. And again, there are answer keys in the back, so you don't have to wait for me to send you an answer key. You can have your child, okay, you're doing these 3 pages, and then you have the answer key readily available. We also have a similar setup for metric unit of measure. We've got the memory chart that your child should be able to do. I would have them do that every so often just to make sure that they still have that it's automatic for them. If they don't know something, of course the information is right there on the chart, but that we also have the record of information that we recorded from class, from our Math Mammoth worksheets, and from other visuals that we had. And then we have a set of metric measurements. We have, it goes linear, and then weight, and then capacity, and then the answer key is attached on the back. So you have that complete set that you can work toward. And then we did a lot of work with area perimeter. We haven't quite gotten to volume, but I do need them to know that volume is the 3D measurement. I need them to know the exact definitions, the units of measure. I would also like them to know a definition of a square and rectangle, and how to find the area and perimeter of each. We've had these area of the day worksheets throughout the semester. Some of you have done them faithfully, some of you have done them not at all, but I wanted to include the ones that have not been assigned. Actually 9 has been assigned, but 10 through 15 are in here as well. And then the answer key for that is right here on the back, and I've written in the answers to the perimeter since I added that component on the worksheets. Again, this is very much within the grass. Area and perimeter is actually a 3rd grade skill. So 4th, 5th, and 6th graders should definitely have absolute complete mastery of these papers. If you don't, or if your child doesn't, he or she is behind, because area and perimeter are 3rd grade skills. Here are our resources and our record of information for what we did in class. So that gives you a complete overview of the main skills and concepts that we tried to develop so far this year. Hopefully, as you work through these, you can determine what your child has mastery over and what your child still needs to work on.